Welcome to another episode of the Harvey Hour. My name is Nathan Harvey, and as always, I'm being joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. How are we doing today?
Disappointed.
It was a rough week. I'll give you that. And it was a rough Monday. It was a very, very rough Monday.
Jay.
Patriots looked bad. Celtics took a disappointing L. It wasn't good. It was not good. Both Chicago teams were able to beat both Boston teams because the Bulls played the Celtics and won pretty heavily. I think it was 102 or
120.
It was 120 to 102, something like that. But we're gonna get started with the Monday night football game because, yikes, the Patriots got absolutely demolished last night. 33-14. Both quarterbacks did play. This was Mac Jones' return game, but he only played about three drives.
Three drives.
He went 3 of 6 for 13 yards with an interception, then got pulled for Bailey Zappi, who played the rest of the game, and the first 2 drives looked really, really good, and people were cheering, they were chanting, Zappy, Zappy, get him out there. Crowd was having a good time because Mac Jones just looked pretty bad, but I want to ask you, how surprising were the Bears last night, and is Mac Jones going to be the starter moving forward?
I think that the Patriots underestimated the Bears.
Okay.
And you don't really see that from Belichick. He's usually very well prepared. The Bears just took it to the Patriots. They were outmuscled them. I think the game was won by the Bears on their offensive and defensive lines, right? The Patriots could not run the ball. They particularly started out very flat with Mac Jones in there. They couldn't run the ball. Then they couldn't, except for Judon, they couldn't get to Fields, and Fields eluded them. They didn't prepare for him the way, well, it was like Lamar Jackson in a way, right? Lamar Jackson ran all over the field against the Patriots. They couldn't stop him. Fields did much of the same thing. He was very mobile. He was elusive. He picked up yards on running when he couldn't find the open receiver, and he passed the ball very well, unlike his past games where he's not been able, he only had like 60 completions for the year coming into the game. So I think the Patriots underestimated the Bears, and the Bears took it to them. I was very surprised. I couldn't believe that they had these long drive. The Bears controlled the clock. They had the ball for many long drives. So Bailey Zappi had his chance.
He did.
He had his chance.
He did.
That was his chance to put himself in there as the starter, and I don't think he fulfilled his opportunity there. He threw 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
He looked good on the first 2 drives.
And after that,
there was some great catches made. I mean, the passes were in the vicinity.
Yes.
And the receivers made great catches on them. So, and then he threw 2 interceptions. So I don't say that. I'd say Mac Jones gets another chance next Sunday against the Jets. That's my feeling. He probably deserves it. As well.
I would say.
I think he was rusty coming out
Yes.
there, and he was nervous. He was nervous.
Right.
The fans was chanting "Zappy, Zappy, Zappy" when he was out there, and I think that flustered him. And I think he'll play better on the road. I think he may play better on the road, actually. Although
He might.
I think if the Patriots don't prepare better than they did last night, then they're in for a long afternoon against the Jets, because the Jets are a much better team this year, and they're playing at Jets. So
Yeah.
I'd say they better watch out. They don't want to get to 3-5. That will be a bad situation for them. You lose 5 games this early in the season. Your chances are not good.
I agree with you. Yeah. I will say there was hope because, like I said, I thought Matt Judon would get 3 sacks. He got 2.5. So, I mean, I was close enough, and I thought
round up.
Yeah, I thought they would get 2 or 3 interceptions. They did get 1, but Adam Schefter said before the game, I don't know how early you were listening on in the game, he said that 61% of the people voted for the Bears. And he was like, "What do you got? Who's voting here? What are the voters doing?" Well, the voters were right. The voters were right. And I want to sort of defend Mac Jones here. I want to defend Mac Jones because I took a look at it. I went back and I have a clip here. I have Mac Jones couple passing plays. But I basically have his entire 2-3 drives, and then I have the difference between Mac Jones's offense, the way they call it, versus Bailey Zappi. And I want to play this right now and break it down basically. So here we go. This is the first drive. It's a play action, 2nd and 10, overthrown, but there was a flag in play, so it got negated. Next play, it was a simple, screen play. The Ramondre Stevenson lost the yard. Then 3rd and 11, on the very next play, you have Mac Jones, pocket collapses. He has to run and escape and gets, 6 yards. Here's the next drive, 2nd and 10. Fake handoff, play action pass. Pocket collapses, needs to escape, and then gets sacked. I'm starting to notice patterns here, and we'll see it especially when we get to Bailey Zappi. Pocket collapses again. He has to dish it off to Damian Harris for 2 yards. Nothing great. The next ensuing possession, pocket collapses. This is the problem I have with Mac Jones. He rainbows throws. They aren't lasers. They're rainbows. So it's just not a good throw. It's not a great throw. And on this one, this is probably the best throw this is a run play. We have the Hunter Henry pass. That was probably the best throw of the day for Mac Jones. They're right here. It's a good pass, wide open. And I think we're on to, this is the last play, right before the interception. The dish off. And look, we see top and bottom of the screen, both receivers open. Devontae Parker up top. Jacoby Myers gets open at the bottom. Both of the wing receivers get open. And then the fateful play that takes Mac Jones out of the game right here. He's scrambling, makes a bad pass to Jonnu Smith, who got picked off. Then Bailey Zappi enters the game. The first play, 4 out of the 5 receivers do a curl route within 5 yards. Okay? That's something. The next play, it's an option route to Ramondre Stevenson, who gets a very big gain. And on the next play, this one, broken down coverage, Jacoby Myers, me and you could make this throw.
No, this is an amazing
Wide
catch.
open. It was a phenomenal catch for a touchdown. Phenomenal catch. That was more Jacoby Myers than was Bailey Zappi. And a play action pass. This one's a beautiful pass by Bailey Zappi. And it's even better
Great catch.
Devontae Parker high pointed that, got up there, mossed him, and it came in a great catch. Now I want to talk about some differences that I see between these two. The first thing, and then we're going to end it here with the Devontae Parker catch. The first thing is, throughout the entire session of Mac Jones, there were not many short routes. Everyone was going deep beyond the first down marker. Compared to Bailey Zappi, everyone was doing short drags, crossing routes, keeping it short.
Jacoby Myers, that was a long pass.
That was a blown coverage. That was a blown coverage.
Was the Parker catch.
Yes, we also had the Tyquan Thornton as well for Mac Jones, who he missed. I think if he lasered that instead of rainbowed over 500 feet in the air,
he was rusty and he was nervous, I think, coming back. And I think that affected him.
I'm going to give Mac Jones some credit.
I think he'd be better on the road.
I'm not saying, Mac Jones played well. He didn't play good. I'm just going to say, I'm going to take it off of the fact that, first of all, Belichick apparently said going to the game that both quarterbacks will start. That's a bad idea because there's no reason to play both quarterbacks. At least play one for at least a half. If you're going to play both, play one half for one, play the second half for another. But no, you take Mac Jones after 3 drives, and especially after an interception, you bench him for the rest of the game. And he said Mac Jones would have gone back in there if the game didn't get out of hand as much as it did. And you talk about Justin Fields' ability to run. If we take a look at the rushing yards for the Chicago Bears had 243 rushing yards. The Patriots' total amount of yards was 260.
That's because they were never on the field.
Yeah, and you bring that up. You bring up the time of possession is almost double, 37 to 22.
Yeah.
So we're looking at it here. The Bears almost had double the time, and that's because they could just run the ball down their throats. The Patriots could not stop the run. And you bring up a great point talking about the Lamar thing. This is a perfect example. The QB option route, they cannot stop anything.
They can stop a mobile quarterback this year. They haven't had any luck yet.
And then that's going to be a problem moving forward. I don't have the Patriots schedule as a graphic here, but they're playing the Jets. Zach Wilson's mobile, but is he good enough to evade him?
He's not the kind of mobile quarterback that either Fields or Jackson is.
I'll give you that. Sam Ehlinger, because they benched Matt Ryan, he'll be in the Colts game. We have to see what he looks like. We'll get into Matt Ryan's benching later. Then Zach Wilson again. Kirk Cousins is immobile. Josh Allen. You don't need to stop them on the run because their passing game's too strong and their defense is incredible. Then you're up against Kyler Murray. Yikes.
That could be tough.
Derek Carr isn't fast, but you have Josh Jacobs, who right now looks like a top 3 running back in the league. 400 yards in 2-3 games. And then you also have Joe Burrow. Can they get the running game going with Joe Mixon? They haven't been great so far this year. And then you also have Tua. Tua's running out there.
He's not a mobile. He's not that mobile.
But he was running against the Steelers, though, coming right back from a concussion.
Passer.
And then Josh Allen again. So the Patriots right now, when you take a look at mobile quarterbacks, they're screwed. They're screwed. And
unless they can figure it out.
And I thought they would. I thought they would try to shut him down, but apparently not. But I will give Mac Jones some credit here because the crowd was against him. The team was rallying around Bailey Zappi for 2 3/4 of a game. 2 games he started, came in after like the first drive for the Patriots after Brian Hoyer got hurt. And the offense changed drastically between Mac Jones playing and Bailey Zappi. Bailey Zappi, they wanted to play him safe to maximize their chance at winning with a third-string rookie quarterback. So they kept it short, did drag routes, the occasional deep pass. Mac Jones, he comes in after a high ankle sprain, not even 100%. He said he was, but that's just what players do. Players, they overestimate how well they are health-wise.
Yeah.
He comes in, I didn't see anyone within 10 yards. No. Everyone was going deep.
I think they made a mistake, and they should have started Zappi in the game. And then if he'd done well the whole game, and they might have won, and, then they would still say Mac Jones is recovering from his injury, right? Or if Zappi did poorly, they could take him out and put Jones in. And then if they were way behind, or they were, it wouldn't be that much pressure on Jones. So I think they got it backwards. I think they should have started Zappi and seen. But I think Zappi missed his chance because if he had played, if he bottomed back, they got the lead there. He was doing great.
Yeah.
If he could have continued that, then he would be the starter. They would make him the starter next week, I'm sure. But now I think they're going to go back to Jones. That's my prediction.
And I think they should go back to Jones because Mac Jones is the guy. He was supposed to be the savior of New England after Cam Newton played bad, and he was supposed to be the predecessor to Tom Brady. And Belichick's playing it like a
successor, predecessor.
Well, okay. So Belichick's playing it like a Madden head coach would. A quarterback plays bad, let's just throw in the backup. Or my starter's playing bad, let's just throw the backer's playing bad, let's just put the other quarterback in instead of keeping one and moving forward.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to Zappi's credit, he got him pumped up there. They got 2 touchdowns.
Yes.
Right. But then the Patriots couldn't stop Chicago, and they got the ball back. They were behind by 3 points?
When?
I don't know.
It was 14-10 when...
14-10. Then the Bears scored, make it 17-14, right?
Yeah.
Then the Patriots got the ball with only a couple minutes left, and they fumbled it and gave it back to Chicago, and they got another field goal.
That was a turning point. It was a handoff to Jacoby Myers, so he doesn't have the running back hands that you would have on a handoff.
That was a bad mistake.
It was.
I don't know why they call a play like that to begin with. I think
some trickery.
The play calling is
the offense is weird.
The offense is weird.
I told you this going into the season. I said they were not going to be well.
Matt Patricia is learning how to call the plays, and I think he has some good time. He has some good stretches where he does a nice job, and then he has some bad ones too. And last night he had some bad ones.
I said going into this year, the Patriots' offense is going to look horrible because they have 2 play callers. They have Joe Judge. Actually, they had 3. Joe Judge, who's giving input. He's also the quarterback's coach. He was horrible as a head coach, and he was okay as a special teams coach. What is he doing being the quarterback's coach? That's the first thing. Second thing. Matt Patricia was a defensive coordinator for the Patriots, who was okay, pretty good.
Yeah.
Goes over to the Lions, sucks for 3 years, comes back to the Patriots as like the senior offensive assistant. What? I
think he started as a scout. They started him as a scout, and then they moved him to this role. So it may work out. Give it a little time.
Plus, the
guy is a smart guy, and they have a smart coaching staff. I think the coaches are good, but why they underestimated the Chicago, and they didn't stand up to them toughness wise. They got pushed around last night. That's not a good sign.
He was the assistant head coach last year, and this year he's the offensive line and senior advisor this year.
I say.
Offensive line. The offensive line didn't look great. Trent Brown had how many penalties did he have?
I'm glad they got Marcus Cannon back.
Yeah. I mean, they benched Isaiah Wynn because he might be out the door by the trade deadline.
Trent Brown had all these penalties.
Yeah, he had a bunch of penalties. What are you doing? What are you doing here? But other than that, the last time, what's it called? Matt Patricia was part of the offense was 2005. 2004, he was the offensive assistant for the Patriots. 2005, he was the assistant offensive line coach.
Yeah.
Since then, it's been linebacker, safeties, DC head coach, and now 2 years with the Patriots, he's an assistant head coach and the O-line coach.
Yeah,
so,
well,
and then you have Bill Belichick.
I think
who's
he's
just
still
defensive
learning.
minded.
I think he's still learning how to get into a rhythm. Get the offense into a rhythm and get the play calling right. That's not easy to do.
Of course it's not easy.
He doesn't have any experience doing it. So they're learning as they go here, and they're paying a price for it sometimes. And you saw it last night.
It's so rough seeing this because the entire crowd was against Mac Jones. The entire crowd was.
Yeah.
After every drive, every incompletion.
That's why they
hear
should have
a boo.
started Zappy. They should have started him at home. The guy was on a roll. He'd won 2 games. People were excited about him. They should have let him play. They should have let him start. And if he'd done great, that was great. They could have put Jones in on the road and at the Jets
Right.
for the next game. Or they could have, if Zappy didn't do well, they could have put Jones in later in the game. It would have been less pressure on him. I just think it was too much. I don't like the sequence of the way they did that.
It's very weird because you put him in, right? He plays poorly, and you take him out after one mistake. Now, albeit the offense was basically stagnant,
Yeah.
but your defense also couldn't stop nothing. The Bears almost rushed for more than your total amount of yards.
Well, the Bears have a good rushing offense. They do.
That's true.
They have a good offense.
But they
hadn't had a
moving the ball
passing
either.
game. They had no passing game.
Right.
And last night they were passing the ball effectively.
Yes.
So the Patriots just weren't not prepared for that game. They
It
did not
was
prepare
so
properly
rough
for
watching
it.
that.
I've rarely seen that from the Patriots. That's not a good sign.
It really brings into question, at least in my mind, like if we take a look at it, think about just the aftermath and the beforehand of Tom Brady. And we're going to get into this, who misses who most, Belichick misses Brady or Brady misses Belichick. But you take a look at the differences here. Pre-Brady, Belichick had a losing coaching record. Post-Brady, now albeit, it started off really well with Cam Newton. Cam Newton went out there and played a great 3-4 games, got COVID, was never the same after that.
No, the problem has been quarterback.
It has.
Yeah.
It has.
Overall,
well, it also
they
has
can't
been
replace
receivers.
Tom Brady.
It has been receivers as
and
well.
the replacements that they've had, the Cam Newton wasn't up to the task. Obviously, they could have, if it wasn't for some of the mistakes he made during the year, turning the ball over, they could have made the playoffs and maybe gone deep into the playoffs that year. But because of his mistakes, they didn't. And plus, he got COVID.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think after that, he was never the same, actually.
Right.
So maybe that had a lingering effect on him. And then you bring in a rookie, right? Well, what do you expect? I mean, a rookie's going to actually, Mac Jones did very well as a rookie last year. So, and now this year, now they've changed offensive coordinators, and they don't really have a coordinator. It's disconcerting, I'm sure, for Jones. And now you have Zappy there who played well, and it's I don't know. They got a problem there. They got to straighten it out, and it may take them most of this year to get it straightened out. And given they've lost 4 games already, it doesn't look good.
And that is going to reflect our second to last topic when I give my my final standings predictions after seeing this game and seeing just how bad. And I just went through the schedule a little bit earlier. How are they going to stop mobile quarterbacks? Not even mobile quarterbacks. The Bears had no offense. Justin Fields was averaging the fewest completions per game in the NFL, and they could pass the ball. They were essentially lights out on offense, and just the Patriots' offense was stagnant. There seemed to be next to no adjustments from the Patriots.
It was
defense.
good for a little bit. It was good for a little bit,
good,
but then
because they put
it
Bailey
went back
Zappi.
into a slump.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it was more about the toughness up front. The Bears' defensive line and the Bears' offensive line outplayed the Patriots on both sides of the ball.
Yes.
And that was a big difference in the game, I think. They got to get tougher. The Patriots need to get tougher. A mobile quarterback, mobile quarterback. You got to put more pressure on and stay in your rushing lanes so he can't get outside you. You know, that's what they did. They just don't put enough pressure on the quarterback. They've always had this issue.
Yes.
They have good linebackers and good defensive backs. Their linemen they don't get enough rushing. They don't put enough pressure on the quarterback fast enough.
My question is, and I see a lot of teams do this, I don't know what kind of, it might be a nickel coverage, but if it were me, I would do contain, right? Maybe drop 5 in the box and have a cornerback line up in the linebacker position to spy Justin Fields. You saw that a little bit in the second half, but throughout the game, you almost saw no spy. You would have a maybe rush 4, the pocket would collapse, Justin Fields just went up the middle.
Yeah.
There was no spy on him. And then he would run for 8-9 yards before he even got near him.
They didn't plan for him properly. That's for sure. They underestimated him.
It was just bad.
He hadn't played well up until now, really. I mean, you could say, we're not that worried about him because he's not playing well. Well, he played well last night. He did. He rebounded, and they weren't ready for it. It was treated him like he was going to be Lamar Jackson, who they couldn't stop either.
They couldn't stop him. And I saw this again. They can't tackle. They would get a hand or two on him. They just can't
they have
grip
that
him.
problem.
And that same thing with Lamar Jackson. They would contain Lamar. They just couldn't bring him down.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And that's been a problem for the Patriots.
Yeah, well, we've been spoiled over the years.
No, it is.
They've been
and that's the problem with the fans,
all that winning. So
that's the problem with the fans. They expect so much because they had 20 years of consistency. Because they had Bill Belichick, who had usually a pretty good defense. And then you have Tom Brady, who was essentially the head of the offense, and then Josh McDaniels.
They had a year where they were undefeated until the Super Bowl and lost the Super Bowl. I mean, come on, they were perfect. They won more games than the Dolphins did in their perfect season.
Yeah,
right. They had 18 wins, right?
Yep.
And then they lost the last one.
Yeah.
So
and the fact about that, I believe the Super Bowl was the highest point upset. It's either that or the Greatest Show on Turf. Either one of those, they were the greatest upset in Super Bowl history. It was like a 12.5 spread in favor of the Patriots.
Oh, was it for the Giants game?
For the undefeated season.
I'll never forget that.
Speaking about Tom Brady, speaking about the Patriots, we are talking about the Bucs in our next topic because 13-point favorites. And you lose by 18 points.
Didn't even score a touchdown.
To an XFL quarterback and an interim head coach. And you just traded away Christian McCaffrey, your main guy on offense.
There's something very wrong there with the Bucs.
Well, I want to ask you, who are you going to give the blame to for this disappointing loss for the Buccaneers?
Todd Bowles.
You give it to okay. What reason? What are you giving it to Todd Bowles?
Because the head coach has got to have the team ready to play. The Panthers are one of the worst teams in the league, and the XFL quarterback in his first start, never played in the NFL before, scored 21 points against his defense. He's supposed to be a defensive guru. What's the story here? I don't understand it. And then the offense, they've lost all of their rhythm and consistency and cohesion and chemistry. What's happened? It's a coaching thing, I think. There's a big part of it. And then you have Tom Brady, who, this happened to Patriots in his last season, right?
Yeah.